Well, kids across the country can start getting a kid-sized version of the COVID-19 vaccine now, a major development this week in the fight to end the pandemic. And our 9Health expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joins us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Kohli.
Hi, good morning, Natasha.
So explain, how does this vaccine work in kids?
You know, it's pretty much the same vaccine that the adults are getting, but a different dose, so 1/3 of the dose. And a lot of people are asking the question, but kids are different sizes, age 5 to 11. Is it really the same dose for all those kids? And the good news is the way that vaccines work, it's not really weight-based dosing, so it's really enough to tickle their immune system to learning how to fight that spike protein.
Okay. Parents who might be hesitant out there to get their kids a vaccine, what would you say to them?
You know, I would say a few things. The first is here in Colorado, we have so much infection in the community that your chance of getting COVID and getting sick from COVID is substantially higher than any potential risk that you could have from the vaccine. I would also go so far as to add that you're not just doing it for your child, you're also doing it for other adults in the community, and also doing it to help us in the fight against COVID-19, to just stop the spread of the infection, because kids make up such a big proportion of the population.
I think a lot of that fear comes from unknown side effects like myocarditis. Can you talk a little bit about that? How common is that?
Yeah, so let's talk about myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart muscle that you can get after you get the vaccine. Now, thankfully, in the clinical trials of the Pfizer vaccine, we didn't see this. But I have to say that it was only a few thousand kids. And the signal for myocarditis in the adults and the adolescents really emerged when it was started to give to millions of people. So is it possible that we might see myocarditis emerge in kids this group? Absolutely. The risk is actually lower than it is in our adolescents because we know that hormones and puberty plays a role in the development of myocarditis. And you're much more likely to get myocarditis from COVID than you are from that vaccine, even with that less than 1 in a million chance.
So we're talking short-term side effects. What about long-term? Fertility, 5 and 11-year-olds, is that a problem down the road if you get the vaccine?
A big question. In fact, 66% of parents are asking about fertility for their kids. And this really popped up because somebody wrote a letter to the European FDA that said that the spike protein looks very similar to a protein on the placenta. So if you make antibodies against the spike protein, would you then later reject the placenta and have impacts on fertility? And the answer is no. And of course, we haven't looked at the vaccine over many years, but what science tells us in adults is that it doesn't impact fertility. In fact, we've seen the birth rate go up, not go down. And in kids, we've not really seen impacts of other vaccines on fertility, so we really don't think this is going to have any long-term consequences at all.
Okay, Dr. Kohli, thank you so much.